Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
I bow down to the Supreme Consciousness.
Atha Shrimad Bhagavad Gita.
And now we start the Holy Bhagavad Gita.
Prathamodhyayah Arjuna Vishada Yogaha.
Thus starts the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which describes Arjuna's suffering. The first shloka of Bhagavad Gita starts with a question. The blind king Dhritarashtra, sitting in his palace, asks his minister Sanjaya this question. He asks, O Sanjaya, after gathering on the field of Kurukshetra, where the law is upheld, a Dharmakshetra, and desiring to fight, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? Then the minister Sanjaya spoke the following words. O king, after watching the battle formation of Pandavas, King Duryodhana approached his teacher Dronacharya and said the following words. Behold the mighty formation of the sons of Pandu, which has been planned by your own gifted disciple, the son of Drupada. In the next 3 shlokas, he goes on to list out the warriors on the Pandava side of the battlefield. Here stand many powerful warriors like Yuyudhana, Virata and Drupada, wielding mighty bows and equal in military prowess to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also valorous fighters like Dhrishtaketu, Chekitana, the powerful king of Kashi, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja and Shaibya, all of whom are the best of men. In their ranks, they also have the courageous Yudhamanyu, the gallant Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra. They also have the sons of Draupadi, who are all great warrior chiefs. O best of Brahmins, you already are well versed with the special warriors on our side. I will recount the names of the leaders of my army formation to you. On our side, there is Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and Saumadatti, who are all ever victorious in a battle. Also, there are many other valorous warriors who are all prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. They are all skilled in the art of warfare and equipped with various kinds of weapons. The strength of our army is unlimited and is protected by Pitamaha Bhishma, while the strength of Pandava army, protected by Bhima, is limited. With the next shloka, Duryodhana gives out an order to his army. He says, all of the leaders of my army, standing at the strategic entrances to my battle formation, protect Bhishma at all costs. Then the grand old man of the Kuru dynasty, the glorious Pitamaha Bhishma, roared like a lion and blew his conch loudly, signaling the start of the battle and giving joy to Duryodhana. Immediately, various battle instruments like conches, drums, trumpets and horns blared forth at once, and their combined sound grew immensely. And then, from amidst the Pandava army, seated in a glorious chariot drawn by white horses, Lord Madhava and Arjuna blew their divine conch shells in response. Sanjaya says to Dhritarashtra, O king, upon hearing these conch shells, King Yudhishthira blew the Ananta Vijayam, while Nakula and Sahadeva blew Sughosha and Manipushpaka respectively. The excellent archer and king of Kashi, the great warrior Shikhandi, Drishtadhyumna, Virata and the invincible Satyaki, Drupada, the 5 sons of Draupadi and the mighty armed Abhimanyu, son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. The terrific sound thundered across the sky and earth and shattered the hearts of your sons, O Dhritarashtra. At that time, the son of Pandu, with the symbol of Hanuman on his chariot, Arjuna, looked at your sons and took up his bow. O king, he then spoke these following words to Lord Krishna. O Achyuta, please take my chariot to the middle of both armies, so that I may look at the warriors who are eager for battle. I wish to look at those people with whom I must fight in this great war. I desire to see those who have come here to fight on the side of the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra, wishing to please him. Sanjaya spoke these following words to Dhritarashtra. Having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna then drew the magnificent chariot between the two armies. In the presence of Bhishma, Dronacharya, and all the other kings, Shri Krishna said, O Partha, behold these Kurus gathered here. There, Arjuna could see stationed in both armies his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, cousins, sons, grandnephews, fathers-in-law, and friends. Seeing all his relatives present there, Arjuna, the son of Kunti, was overwhelmed with compassion and with deep sorrow spoke the following words. O Krishna, seeing my own men who have assembled here for battle, my limbs are giving way and my mouth is drying up. My whole body shudders. My hair is standing on end. My bow, the Gandiva, is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning all over. My head is spinning in confusion. I am unable to hold myself steady any longer. O Krishna, I only see omens of misfortune. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own people in this battlefield. He then says, O Krishna, I do not see the victory, kingdom, or the pleasures that come after it. Of what use is a kingdom, pleasures, or even life itself when the very people for whom we covet them are standing before us for war, setting aside their lives and their riches? Teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, grandsons, fathers-in-law, grandnephews, brothers-in-law, and other relatives are present here. O Madhusudana, I do not have the slightest wish of killing them, even if they attack me, even if I get the dominion over 3 worlds, definitely not for a piece of land. O Krishna, what pleasure will I derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Even if they instigated the war, sin will certainly fall upon us if we slay them. Hence, we are not well off to kill our own cousins, the sons of Dhritarashtra, and friends. O Madhava, how can we hope to be happy by killing our own people? O Janardana, even if these Kauravas are blinded by their greed, a mistake that is done towards harming the family is worse than harming friendships. When a house and its members are destroyed, its traditions and laws are lost. Once the laws are completely gone, anarchy prevails. Once unlawful activities are on the rise, women are no longer safe. With that corruption, O descendant of Vrishni, the Varnashrama Dharma gets spoiled. Once the Varnashrama Dharma is lost, life becomes hell for both the perpetrators and the victims. Deprived of the ritualistic offerings, even the ancestors of such corrupt families fall. Due to these kinds of mistakes which hurt one's own family and leads to the destruction of the Varnashrama Dharma, the eternal social and the family laws are ruined. O Janardana, I have heard that those who destroy family traditions dwell in hell for an indefinite period of time. Alas, how strange it is that we have set our minds on performing such a great sin. Driven by the desire for kingly pleasures, we are intent on killing our own people. I think that it is better for me to lay down my arms and let the sons of Dhritarashtra kill me in this war. Sanjaya said, and speaking thus, Arjuna was overwhelmed with grief. He abandoned his bow and arrows and fell into the chariot.
Om Tat Sat.
And thus ends the first chapter by the name of Arjuna Vishada Yogaha. This is taken from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna on the science of yoga, which is the knowledge of the ultimate reality called as Brahma Vidya.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.